Welcome back, Bottle Killers. This is Bottle Kill TV, and as always, it's your host, Michael Roche. And with me, as always, we have the often imitated, but never duplicated. It's the real Bottle Killer, ladies and gentlemen.
How are we doing? Thanks for joining, everyone.
How the hell are you today?
Doing good. Beautiful day, isn't it? Weather is lovely outside. Bank holiday weekend as we record. So, yeah, lots to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And today we've got the Lagavulin kind of special. We're doing 2 Lagavulin episodes. We're starting with what would you'd say was the quintessential Islay whiskey, I think, for a lot of people. You know, probably the most ubiquitous Islay whiskey is Lefroy 10. But in terms of, I think Lagavulin 16 is more of the quintessential when it comes to whiskey fans, because of course it's got that extra age statement on it. It's got a 16-year-old, which is it's quite rare to get such a whiskey with an age statement, which has it's so easy to find.
Yeah,
you know, you buy it in Tesco, you buy it in any supermarket really.
Yeah, and it's incredibly popular as well. You know, like with seasoned whiskey drinkers, like just all kinds of whiskey drinkers. So yeah, it's a good one.
And from my understanding, I wasn't following it that closely when it first started, and you first started your Instagram page, The Real Bottle Killer on Instagram, if you want to check that out, Jay's Instagram. But it seemed like Lagavulin was the first one you kind of fell in love with, and you really went hard and bought the whole, as many as you could find. What was so just tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Lagavulin 16 was really where my journey into peated whiskey really took off. So back in 2018, I was going to New York for work, and I'd read an article about Lagavulin 16, and it was just basically saying like how it was the best value age statement whiskey. I think at the time in the airport, it only cost about 40 quid, you know,
Wow.
in the duty free. So as soon as I got to the hotel, poured a dram, instant hit. Like I'd never tried anything like it. I was just like blown away. And as I say, I think everyone's had that kind of like Lefroy 10 moment, right? Where you sort of, you drink it and you make that face.
TCP.
So I never really got into peated whiskey, and then I had Lagavulin 16 and I was like, oh, this is a game changer. I mean, I've had probably 9-10 bottles of this. It's always on the shelf. There's usually a backup, just keep replenishing it. So yeah, it's just, I think it's just a really complex quality age statement whiskey. Price has gone up a bit, but you can still pick it up reasonably priced.
Yeah, I saw it in Costco for £59 the other day. So
It's not too bad.
which is, and I think Amazon have had it 65 recently.
Yeah. In today's market, you know, that's about right for a 16-year-old.
And so it's one of those where, you know, I don't know if you can see it in the shop or behind us. You kind of then went on a little mission then to get like Lagavulin like 11 to 18 or how many?
Yeah, well, I started getting the special releases, which are the 12-year-old, and then I'd got the 9-year-old Game of Thrones, and then I think I got the travel retail exclusive, which is the 10-year-old, and I was just looking at them, and I was like, right, well, I've got the 9, I've got the 10, I've got a couple of 12s, got the 16, so I just basically wanted to have all of the numbers congruent. So I think, I mean, yeah, what do we got? We've got like 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9, 10. There'll be an 11-year-old. I had a 13-year-old port cask one. I think it was one of the festival releases a couple of years back.
So that's right. The 8-year-old is the one that's also in Tesco a lot.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the supermarkets.
Yeah.
It's one of the most accessible ones too. For me, Lagavulin, you know, until I'd visited Islay and you planned the trip to Islay, so I didn't even know Islay whiskey existed.
Yeah.
Before actually stepping foot onto Islay. So every opinion that I have on Islay whiskey is really from being in the distilleries themselves. And so Boona Harbin, I remember absolutely loving when I was at the distillery. Ardbeg, the same. Boona Laddie, Brook Laddie, the same. When it came to Lagavulin, just didn't have a good experience there.
No.
You know, we went in to do a tasting, and you've got to imagine, like, we're like whiskey geeks, and so we're buying like, you know, like special edition, like 21-year-olds and 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds, and so we went and ordered these things at the bar at the back of the distillery, and then they bring them. They bring them to us, to our table, in plastic glasses. And I remember just being like, we're not football hooligans.
Yeah.
And sent them back. and it kind of just like left like a bad taste. I was like, this can't be the greatest, as good as people think of. If they're serving whiskey in plastic glasses, there's no standard for themselves.
100% agree with you on that one. I think my opinion of Lagavulin certainly went down after visiting his distillery for that reason. And we've had so many great experiences when we've been to Islay distilleries. You know, you get really well looked after, and to be served like special release, cask strength, distillery exclusives in plastic cups, it was just not okay, was it?
Yeah, and then I said the immortal words, which was we had about 30 minutes until our appointment at Ardbeg. We had our tasting appointment at Ardbeg, and our driver Colin, Asic Whiskey Islay on YouTube, he said, do you want to stay here for another 30 minutes, or do you want to go to Ardbeg early? And I said, well, they treat you well at Ardbeg, so let's go Ardbeg, not knowing that they were listening. And so we all sheepishly had to like creep out, tails between our legs, which is the only time that's ever happened in maybe 20, 25 distillery visits. I did, and then the final nail in the coffin was I did buy the distillery exclusive there, which I think was about £96. I think it was 13 years old. And unfortunately, at an after party I had at my house, it got mixed with Lucasade Energy by many people, and I never actually got to try it. And so, what could have saved Lagavulin for me? So I've not actually had Lagavulin since we went to distillery. So I'm actually interested for my own education, my own journey to see what actually Lagavulin 16 is all about, because it is one of those which is it's such a stalwart in people's collections.
Why don't we dive into it then?
Let's do it.
Let's get on it. Well, and I think, as well, obviously not ideal that your distillery exclusive got mixed with Lucasade, but at least you didn't buy clothes at the distillery shop.
Oh yeah. So you want to tell that story?
It's just my brother basically just bought a Lagavulin t-shirt at the distillery shop, and everyone was like, who goes to a distillery and buys clothes, not whiskey? And one of the other lads actually bought soap and somehow managed to get away with it. So
towels, or
soap, towels, like people were buying all kinds.
Anything but whiskey.
Not whiskey though. So, yeah.
So instantly, like bang! This is really punchy, right? It just smacks you in the nose straight away. This is really, and again, it's kind of got that smokiness, that peatness of the more akin to Lefroy.
Yeah, it's medicinal peat, isn't it?
Yeah.
The iodine kind of notes. But I think that, this is it's definitely got sherry casks in the mix as well. So it offers, like, for me, a really nice balance of smoke, dark fruits. There's spice in there as well. I get kind of spicy, pipe tobacco, leather. It's quite meaty as well, meaty, malty, kind of like smoked bacon notes. But then
red leather.
It couldn't be an episode without red leather, could it? But it's got maritime-y. It's got those kind of salty, briny kind of notes. Again, lots of that TCP, iodine, antiseptic, medicinal kind of peat. I mean, instantly, you're just picking up so much just on the nose. That's what I mean when I say it's enjoyable to drink, because every time that I go back to it, I just discover something new, and there's just layers and layers of taste and notes. There's spices, kind of fresh red chilies.
Yeah, I can get the brine.
Yeah, definitely.
There's almost like a marine note to it. You can. It's very interesting, and a lovely color as well. Is it colored?
I think it is colored. Yeah, 100%.
Which is what you'd expect for Lagavulin owned by like Diageo, which I like Diageo as a company. They kind of, for some people, they're kind of like big whiskey, and it's kind of not cool to like big whiskey, but no, I think they do a great job, Diageo, in a lot of their experiences they put on.
Yeah.
So you can experience whiskey, but one of those things that they will always do is that everything needs to look the same.
Yeah, exactly. It looks a lot like the Talisker 10-year-old, doesn't it, in terms of colour? I was just looking there as well. It's only 43%, but it's so rich, isn't it?
Which I think 43% is not a bad number. Like 40, 43, 46, it's the 40s really is the ones that are a little bit more disappointing usually.
Too thin,
yeah.
So I think it's again, that kind of the sweetness from the sherry casks comes through in the palate, but it's also there's a lot of dryness to it. Or it's almost got that drying kind of effect that you do get with the wine casks that you like. And again, I think it's quite savoury, so there's that kind of balance between sweetness and savoury. Those umami flavors, lapsang souchong, black tea. Again, the tobaccos, the leather, and of course the peat and that saltiness as well.
Like figs.
Yeah, sticky figs, dates.
It's got that very nutty, like fruity feeling, and I think that's the like you said, like a fig, a dates. They kind of like that. Got that sweet, savory kind of partnership, right?
Yeah,
Nutty.
and then just the finish. It's that kind of ashy smoke, lots of spice coming through. Again, I think that red chili comes through in the finish. A little bit of a tingle on the tongue. Dry in, woody, oaky. Yeah, I mean, it's, as I say, it's been a stalwart of my whiskey collection for the past, 6 years now. And it is. It's kind of like McDonald's. Like, you know exactly what you're getting every time. You go to McDonald's, like, it always delivers right to the same standard. Like, I feel comfortable with Lagavulin 16. I know that I can go to it, especially in the winter when the cold weather kicks in and you want to just sit by the fire and have a nice dram to warm you up. This is the one.
Yeah, this is super rich. This is lovely. I'm really, really enjoying it. This might be bringing Lagavulin back. Yeah, I'm loving the character of this. It's just really bold, but not overly bold, and you can definitely feel the age statement for whatever reason. And I think that your palate just adjusts over time. But I remember I did have a Lagavulin 16 once in a there was like a pub closing down, the Coach and the Horses in Greasby.
Yep.
And so they were trying to empty the bar.
Interesting.
And so they put the Lagavulin 16 there, super cheap, and so I had a dram. But I just remember the sort of beginner level whiskey, I was just burned. All
Yeah.
it was like burn, smoke, get me out of here. Now that's not coming through so much.
Yeah. No, I think it's got a lot of balance to it, doesn't it? And I don't think being bottled at 43% does it any harm. And again, obviously, because it is an older whiskey, typically, your age statements that you're picking up in the supermarket, typically 12-year-olds, really, aren't they, for the most part? So this does well. I mean, yeah.
So you got 60 to 80 pounds to spend. You want to recommend a peated whiskey to people that maybe they should add to their collection. Is this the one you go for, or is there something else that you might pick?
I think so, yeah. I think this would be the Islay whiskey that I would recommend to people that are looking to develop their appreciation of peated whiskey and smoke. So it's not what I'd say to somebody who's never drank whiskey before, oh, go and buy Lagavulin 16. Like, you got to start kind of, somewhere else. But if it's like, oh, I'm really interested to get into peat, like, what would you recommend that I buy? I'd say, yeah, go Lager 16 all day.
Do you think
or Ugadal, but yeah, Ugadal or Lagavulin 16.
Do you think the medicinal peat is superior, or how do you think about the medicinal peat?
I love it. Yeah, I mean, been a big fan of Lagavulin, as I say. Bought up a lot of bottles. Pretty much every age statement that I could find. And then I had this real big Lefroy phase as well. They're not too far apart from each other, and they've got quite a lot of history, a lot of old competition between the two distilleries. But I think Lefroy is a kind of a very acquired taste. It's a bit Marmite. Like, you love it or you hate it. Like, you can't be half in with Lefroy. And I just went through this period where I was like, I just could not stop drinking it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, me too. I don't get so much of a TCP vibe, which is Lefroy. That's the first thing that people...
Yeah.
We're talking about memory is the last episode. That childhood memory of TCP, cutting your leg, falling over in the street, going home and getting TCP on that. That's kind of what everyone says about Lefroy. This I wouldn't say is like the TCP-ness, but it is.
No.
But it is the medicinal.
Yeah, kind of like cough sweets.
I was gonna say
More-
cowpole.
Yeah,
It kind of gives me
really.
like the after sort of the finish gives me like the cowpole
Oh, I
vibe.
see what you're saying. Yeah, in the finish, like the orange Calpol, that's got that kind of like more of bitterness to it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a good note that I like that.
So you'd go this like sort of ooh, we called it ubiquitous before, but the no quintessential introduction to peat. If you're gonna get something peat and you want to get something with a little bit of age that's a little bit special,
Yeah.
Lagavulin 16, you'd go for.
Definitely. I mean, this is the most replaced bottle of whiskey by a country mile that I've ever owned. So I've started now, if I really like a whiskey, buying a backup straight away because I know it'll just go really quick. And especially with some where they might never come around again. If I like one, I'm like instantly Bruichladdich 18 backup straight away. I'm like, get it before it's gone.
Yeah.
But you know, Ugadal probably had 2 or 3 bottles of, but this you're talking like I've had like 9, maybe 10 bottles of it. So I keep going back to it. Yeah, I would say
It's such a great sipper, and I think it can actually be like a, maybe not an everyday sipper, but a weekly sipper. You know, a Friday night sipper, because it's, you know, if it's £60 in Costco, then it's not too bad to be like a Friday night sipper and be a regular thing. Whereas a Bruichladdich 18, it's not one you're gonna be sipping every Friday.
no, definitely not.
You know, just because it's 3 times the price.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For me, I like I said, I think it's brought Lagavulin back into. I'd be a lot more interested in Lagavulin things coming out, and I don't think are we due to go to Islay in August? Are we headed there?
We're not going to Islay. No, we're going to Arran and Mull. So we're going Lochranza Distillery, Lag, and then we're going to go to Tobermory, obviously Lechig as well. So we'll try some nice peated whiskey at Tobermory. But no, Islay's not on the agenda this year. Campbelltown, Arran, and Mull.
It was absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. Lagavulin 16. For me, it's a buy. Go get if you want the intro to peat, perfect. And yeah, Lagavulin is. I'm gonna be looking at your shelf and seeing what you're gonna let me try, because it's piqued my interest, and I really love the aftertaste, the medicinal peat aftertaste. And really, it's like it has got like a little orange, figgy, medicinal aftertaste, hasn't it? Really strong.
Yeah, well, so it sounds like you're sold again on Lagavulin, which is good, because immediately up next after this, we're going to be reviewing Lagavulin's latest limited edition release, which is a collaboration with Nick Offerman. It's the 4th Offerman edition that they've done, and it's been finished in a Caribbean rum cask. So you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Come back for the next episode. But yeah, for me, Lagavulin 16 is an absolute buy. So yeah, I think we'll round things off and then hit the camera and do.
Yeah. One thing you just said: like and subscribe and comment. You know, just give us a little thumbs up, give us a little heart, give us whatever you want. But
tell him to do some Hey Club. Put it in the comments. Don't forget that one.
We want to see some more.
We want to see it.
Some more comments, and thank you to all our new subscribers. Love seeing the numbers go up, and yeah, we'll be back with a new episode very soon. And as always, Real Bottle Killer, take them out.
Well, thanks for joining us. I've had a good time. I hope you all had a good time. Michael, did you have a good time?
I had a blast.
Great stuff. And we'll see you next time on Bottle Kill TV.